What is your greatest dream? And I will help you as best as I can, 'cause I love you. I tell you, I looked at her dark red lips and really tried to make up a story of a dream I'd always had, but never dared to follow. I wanted to thank her for those beautiful words by at least telling her something. But in my mind, that something looked like damn near anything. It's hard to pick one out of many of the same, and I just hadn't ever come across one thing that was so much better than another, so I didn't say nothing. At first, she didn't react. I reckon she thought I was being shy about it. It gave me time, a few weeks, to make something up. Finally, she asked again. Just like last time, I could tell by the expectation in her eyes that it had just never struck her some folks just don't got a dream. But this time, I wasn't going to disappoint her. I said that I wanted to go to New York and be a photographer. I don't know why I said that, but I guess 'cause New York seemed like a place of opportunity, and then I had an uncle who had moved there from Georgia a few years earlier. I'm not saying that I'd never taken a picture before, and that I didn't actually enjoy photographing landscapes as they changed and faces of people. I'd always liked taking pictures, and Isabel knew that, so she didn't take it as a surprise. When I think back on those interviews, I remember so clearly the confusion I walked away with sometimes. Curtis Laporte, terrorist, madman, lost soul, was the only choice of words the public seemed to consider for him. Yet I didn't feel the person I was talking to fitted the description of those things. I asked myself if I was getting blind to who he really was, like the kidnapper who sympathizes for her abductor and doesn't want him jailed. Then I thought of boundaries and empathy and the chaos there would be if there were too few of the first and too much of the latter. Of course, there could be no doubt in anybody's mind that what he had done in the end was deeply criminal, and I think nobody doubts the justification of his sentence. But I was more interested in understanding the motives for his actions than supposing I would ever find a way to condone them. I'd always believed the understanding you have for anybody's deeds is exactly relative to how much you know about their reasons. A person's action is always a reaction to something else. What you see is never how it began. That was the angle I used when I started writing. But then I reminded myself that the man had, after all, tried to blow up the Arch of Triumph. That was when I decided to go and visit him more often. I'd been asked to write a cover story on him to one of the biggest magazines in the world, and I had time to do it properly. She came with me to New York for a while. She said it might even be good for her dancing career, too. We slept on a fold-out in my uncle's tiny apartment. Isabel got a small allowance from her mama, and my uncle helped a bit with the grocery shopping. He was a widower, my aunt having died of cancer the previous year, so he was only too happy to have a bit of company when he got home from the post office. Before he had come to New York, he had worked in the dead letter department in Atlanta. He had boxes full of letters that belonged to no one, and sometimes he would read them to us at night. They were his favorite letters from his 25 years there. I always wondered if that was allowed. I never asked him, but once he said that they were the ones that escaped the shredder. We used to laugh and cry over them, and sometimes we'd feel sorry that they had never reached who they were meant for. Those letters were like little lost voices in a big dark forest, and we were like the critters there, who could do nothing to help them. All we could do was to listen and wonder at the strangeness, sadness, and ridiculousness of people. Anyway, I would spend most of what I had on film for my camera and stuff for developing it. I'd made a dark room in my uncle's cellar space right at the bottom of the building. I took pictures all right, but I didn't feel that fire in my stomach about what I was doing, like I could see Isabel had. Sometimes I'd stay at home reading dead letters and sleeping. I felt safe, since both my uncle and Isabel were out from 8 a.m. till at least 5. Well, one day, all hell broke loose when Isabel came down to see me in the dark room. She found me sitting